Welcome back. What we are doing today is uncensored. We get asked advice, and it usually comes down to law firm growth, comes down to 3 parts. One is generating more clients. The second part is all the different tools and ways that you're able to free yourself up by automating your law firm. And the third, super important, is delegating and hiring. Every law firm growth comes down to probably one of these 3.
I have a law firm and I represent employees, and I'm a sole practitioner in my own right. And then I have 2 profit centers. One is the cases where I represent people, and one is where the refer out business, where we sort of take cases that don't make sense for us and we refer them out. And I always am bogged down with the idea of, would I be better off having associates underneath me and growing my firm as much as possible? Or do I sort of maintain this balance of having my firm and where it makes sense associating in joint ventures with other firms on specific cases? And I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on that. And then just a follow-up question. You guys both do a lot of different stuff. How do you prioritize the most scalable, strategic changes? How do you focus on the things that make the biggest impact?
Okay. Well, let me start with saying that when you start in doing the referrals, a lot of it has to do with your referral arrangement. There's referrals that are extremely profitable and there's referrals that are not so much. So if you're having a referral after doing 40% referral fees, you can't lose money. But if you're doing it at 15, 20%, it's very questionable. That's the first effect, to making sure you at least minimum 1/3 referral. And then your target is really 40. That's the first element. The second is what's the volume of that business and how much you can expand on it. Let's say completely, to answer your second question first, to be able to do multiple ventures, multiple departments, multiple things, you have to dedicate yourself, focus on one thing and not mix things up. So imagine for 1 minute that you're only a referral firm. You don't do this anymore. You don't do your own litigation. I'm a referral firm. I'm going to grow it. How many cases can I get in that I can refer out? What is my profit margins, which is your referral fees you're going to get? What's your cost of client acquisition? And basically, what's my ROI? What is my net margin? So you manage that separately. If it makes sense, you just expand it like crazy. A lot more ads, a lot more referrals, a lot more control. Then you turn to this other side, wanting to do the litigation, doing it in-house and so forth. If you understand your net profits from this operation, and say, when I do it myself, I make 27% net profit. When I refer it out, I get 33%. You know what the heck, let's just give everybody out. So it all has to do with profit margin, not what I sort of feel like, want to do, could do, is not. Everything is about you're running a practice based on profitability, not about emotions or what everybody else does. Very simple P&L decision.
For me to answer your question is, if you were to hire this associate, what would they be doing, Benji? And I want you to actually answer this. If you can get the mic back here, there we go.
So I probably, like most people in this room, believe that 99% of work that attorneys do can be done by a Philippines virtual assistant. And which is a crazy, psychotic thing to say. And if anybody heard that outside of this room, they would think we're lunatics, but it's true. So I know that if I brought an attorney, I would still not want them to be doing stupid tasks. I would want them to do the things that they have to do, like depositions and client discussions and court appearances, stuff like that.
So then the second question, follow-up question is, all those things you just mentioned, do you like doing those things yourself? Do you flow when you're doing those things?
That's not where I want to be spending my time.
So the answer is your own question. It's like whenever you're sitting on something that you don't want to do, you just don't thrive, it's a clear sign that it's not a sustainable thing for you to do it in any business, in any capacity. It doesn't matter what business you're in, doesn't matter how rich you are, it's just a dead end. Yeah. So yeah, that is a complete trigger for you to have at least one, I would say. At least one is the mindset. How many would be the actual question. And then regarding to prioritization, I think in the beginning, we just we do it because we get drawn to challenges. I think me and Hamid talk about this all the time. We love challenges that we put ourselves to. It's the first part. And the second part that pulls us in is the people that we do it with, right? That's a big crucial part of this whole thing too. But over some time, after we were a couple of years in, then we could be a little bit more, we could prioritize a little bit more and be a little bit more selective. And that's something that both me and Hamid right now are going through. We've done it all. We've done 120 referrals. We have $600 members inside of our community. We have a lot of other stuff going on, but now we're prioritizing all those things. We're going to consolidate is the word of the year for us. We're going to consolidate, and instead of trying to do it for more people, we're going to have less partners, less clients, less things, but try to do more with them, more with less is the mindset versus trying to do more. And it's something that, again, both of us are going through this. I think both of us are about to go hire the same coach to work with us together to go through this transformation for us.
Okay, your conversation yesterday was very interesting, but there was one part that kept in my mind about artificial intelligence taking over some practices. And you mentioned immigration among those, and that's what I practice. So what I wanted to ask you is, what's your vision on that? How long do I have until my law firm is dead?
Very good question.
Yeah, and what should I do in the meantime? What should I do in the future? Just move to real estate? I mean, what's your take on what's going to happen in the industry in the future?
The AI for the immigration is going to start next year. So there's companies already working on using AI to do complete immigration, except like removals and deportations and so forth. Those still stays out there because the AI is not going to get into it. But anything transactional between family immigration and business immigrations, E2s and E1s and all the way to EB5s is going to be taken over. It's going to take about 3 years to complete, my estimate. Don't quote me. It takes
You
about
used to say 5, and I'm like, Hamid, you have no idea
because
how
I
fast it's
see
going to
it.
come.
It's like I
Now you
expect them
said
to do it
3.
in a year.
In 6
now they're
months,
doing
you'll
the
say
same
6
thing in 3
months.
months. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the time window keeps getting shorter because all the AI development is coming off the ground because they used to be doing it in caves and so forth. And now that it got exposed, everybody who's doing anything with AI, first of all, they're just coming right out. The second thing is all the big boys taking all the money and investing it into AI, so that's expediting the process. So if it was 5 years, it's now 3, maybe if you're asking 6 months from now, I say 1 year, is a life expectancy. But you look about 3 years, you have to have an exit. So you either adopt AI and be in the game, and after 3 years, you basically have no staff and you're just sort of doing the business model and the client generations and so forth, and using this machine to basically process it.
And for me, the way that I see it is, it's not a complete wipeout. It's a consolidation. Over time, just businesses consolidate. That means the cream of the crop come out, the true winners, and the rest kind of simmer down and just like get forgotten. So I think that's the reason why we're here, to understand these things and still be ahead, still be in the top 5% and ride the wave with it. You could definitely still be in the top 5% of your market in the next 5 years using these things. But if you leave yourself out, you'll be in the bottom 95%, and that is very risky. But I think every single one of us, let me just give you guys confidence. You guys are way, way, way ahead of the entire rest of the market.
Right.
Again, don't forget, I shared this number with, we have a little core group, is our ads have been seen by millions of people, and 4,000 or 5,000 people have applied. And from that, 600 people have joined. And from that, there's you guys. You guys are in the top 0.01%. You guys are way ahead. I mean, we know this thing. So don't worry. For the most part, little by little, apply these tools, and your market still requires that personal touch, talking to the people, things like that. Again, a lot of the work can be cleaned up, but there's still going to be a need for every single one of us. So don't worry nearly as much.
Absolutely. And what you said, what to do to be prepared, build a complete business model that is all client acquisition model. Because the work going to get done with the AI.
Yep.
But the cases will not generate through AI, at least not now.
Not yet.
So you strengthen your firm from doing an immigration law operation to immigration law client generation.
That was good.
Sure.
Where do I really go to start? Like, I'm your daughter. What would you tell me? All the clients that are trickling in are just referrals, but I'm not advertising. I'm not.
Right, you're not
bringing
growing.
You're
You're not expanding, sure.
Right.
But I'm just saying, in general, you have to decide if you're going to be attorney or a business owner. You can't, nowadays with everything going on, you can't be both. So if you're not a business owner, you don't know about this online presence, the technologies, the AIs, everything that's getting thrown at you, you got to find expert. You don't need to go hire a full-time MBA CEO. They probably cannot figure all this either. You got to figure out the specific service, prioritize it, and hire experts for each area based on the KPI, so they don't just hang around and say, I'm working on it, and give you what you need while you're running your business and expanding it. Your entire focus all the time is to expand the business. So never stopping ad campaigns that is really paying off and working, never stopping a marketing campaign that is working, to go figure things out. Because if it's working, let it work. And then you spend your time hiring experts to help you.
And my advice is, and advice that I got from Hamid, is you got to get clear, as you shared, what you're currently doing, so you can evaluate what that is. And once you do that, you're like, whoa, I'm working on things that I'm not doing. And these 3 departments is basically what it comes down to. You need more clients, you need to set up some tools and things to be able to automate, and you need to hire all at the same time. This is crucial for every business. So look at these as 3 different divisions, 3 different people that can help you with this. And you, as yourself, you're the planner, visionary, and somebody who's able to say, this is what I need to be done, and then this is what the end result should look like based on numbers. And you step back and you're kind of like letting it be done.
Right. And the same thing that I said about the immigration applies to the family law, because family law, if you have uncontested divorce filings, AI is going to do all of that. There's no lawyering to be done. Or if you're doing separation agreements or things like that, you're only going to be dealing with the cases where there is a lot of child custody, a lot of assets to be divided. All of that stuff is going to be your focus. Everything below that is going to be AI. Now, I'll give you an example. We were providing a lot of marketing services, like website maintenance, social media management, monthly newsletter, SMS marketing, variety of different things. It was like 14 items for the law firms to take advantage of. And it got confusing and overwhelming with them. So we created this practice growth solution, which takes basically 7 of these services on the fixed cost that LegalSoft does it for them. So they don't have to hire that director of marketing and trying to figure out how the newsletter stuff works or what the SMS marketing works. So you got to find those kind of solutions. There's a bunch of them around, but you just got to find those solution providers and pass it on and control the cost of it.
Hey guys, it's Ryan. Quick question for you. For the 3x multiple that you used, how would that apply to, for example, contingency fee firms where, for example, there's an ebb and a flow and a lot of these clients are actually one-off clients, right? I'm kind of curious to know with a business firm where they have recurring clients, you have these clients, you have the steady stream of income. One year you might be killing it, the next year not so much. So how does that factor into the 3x?
Yeah, well, that's what they time it to market, right? So it also stands out when you're doing 2 to 3 years of averaging. I mean, when they do the due diligence, they also know that your average fee per client was $75,000 for the past 3 years, but you have a huge bump because you had the 8-figure all of a sudden. So they amortize that through the years. They won't say, okay, now you went from 75 to 1.8 million. So they do a standard, but it usually just averages out in 3 years because you're supposed to have certain big wins like that within the 3 years somehow, if you're in a contingency. If you don't have it, you have other problems.
Another way to look at it is if you guys into stocks, so it's like your 2-year moving average, what direction is it heading? Is it slanting up? Then it's a good sign.
I was wondering, I'm currently using Clio Grow and also manual spreadsheets for tracking conversion rate per lead source, cost per lead source, and all that information. And I've been trying to investigate different CRMs to see if any of them are a little bit more robust and can provide this data, because it's taking forever for my VAs to manually pull everything from Grow and then, get it all together.
Really no, because I'm partnered with Filevine, Clio, Leadify, and Casepeer. And I see all this stuff happening, and we have our own lead tracking, management, cost of client acquisition system too. Still, we go back to a lot of the Google Sheets and tracking because it's real time and it's sort of more customizable. If I go with Clio Grow or even on the Filevine, you have the lead docket, does the same thing. We haven't been able to figure it out to be the level that we wanted. It sort of like makes you feel good kind of a data, but it's not something that I'm willing to invest a lot of money on.
I'll add to this too, is the right CRM is the CRM that you implement. Okay, so don't overthink too much, which is right for me. They're all more or less the same, more or less. The only difference is there's some that are easier than others, and depends on what type of firm you are and what your capability is. If you can really handle it and you have a lot going on, then maybe HubSpot is the most capable. But it's also like HubSpot and Follow-On, but those are really robust and take a lot. Or there could be much easier solutions that are easier. So I would say let's start off with the easier. At least build the momentum, build that habit, and don't overthink it. Just have an implementer that could help you, start the momentum, and the rest will kind of play itself out.
In the same respect, I was also interested, are there any good softwares that you're aware of or solution Clio manage to pull out like SKUs for different practice areas so you can determine better profitability rather than kind of manually running it through like a SKU calculator?
No, I don't think anybody has that out there that is based on a different practice. They have tried, but every time I use one of those, it was just too far off.
It's a case evaluator, is what we're talking about?
Is a cost of the case and the
I know how to do that.
estimated.
Can I come, like my theory is you have the facts of the case and you have the ultimate end number. So what if you could feed AI, you could even try it out like a minimum viable product of this ChatGPT, 20 of them, start off at 20, takes as much detailed fact of a case that you have. You can have a VA do this. I do this all the time, pull out stuff and see what comes out of it. And then you also give the end number that it comes out and then potentially any other context you want to give it. And then be like, based on this, now give me an estimated value for this particular fact case. And then it's going to give you a number. Now you're going to say, if I were to want to double this number, what should I do? And it's going to go pull out those different variables or factors and says maybe you may need to visit the Cairo a couple more times.
I also am having points as far as our phone solutions, and I've been talking to a lot of other law firm owners, and it seems like this is common. I currently have CallRail, and it's been a problem dropping calls. Different solutions like SimulRing, they admitted doesn't work. You know, we're losing leads because of it, because of the speed of getting back to people. I was about to jump to Steven, also problematic and has some pain points. I've looked at Ring Central, I've looked at a bunch of solutions. A lot of them don't work in the Philippines or other areas. Is there anything that you know that can solve this or make it more fluid so we can call people back quicker and have less problems?
We have that system in the LegalSoft platform that is, because of those reasons, we had to use the multiple technologies to implement what we call a smart call that is in our system. It's tied to the intake, and it does the calls coming in, the text going out, all that stuff. So if you look at it and talk to one of the agents out there, they can hook you up with what we call a smart call. Because we use all of that too. Unfortunately, there's not a perfect solution to it. I want to say one more thing about the last questions. Go high level is probably one of the better systems right now for lead management and follow-up, because we're actually using it internally also.
Yeah.
It says go high level.
CRM. If you have that, we basically white labeled it and kind of created all the customizations, all the onboarding, all that stuff that's kind of legal funnel CRM. The phone service, I've been exposed to them all. None of, they all have their issues at the end of the day, but the one that I've experienced the better is OpenPhone. OpenPhone, Open Phones. All the people that recommend the OpenPhone, I got onto it early. I got exposed to them early, like a year ago. I got onto all my law firms on it, and then we had our members get on it. It's been amazing. It works. They get it. They understand. I think they're just like updated first year version of everything else. I think they understood what the problems were with everyone else. So it's just OpenPhone. Don't overthink it. You don't need to ask around. Just try that out. Yeah, no problem. Just do it.
So Todd Sternberg of Sam Mollaei himself, my first VA, right? The difficulty that I've always had is wearing too many hats, basically like the E-Myth story. I'm the owner, I'm the director, and I'm the agent within this. Mr. Kohan, what you said earlier has really resonated with me. Is your advice to just ditch it all, be the business owner, instead of one of the attorneys? Because my concern has always been more of a cash flow issue while I'm trying to find my replacement associated with the type of work that I do as the attorney. Because the concern is that if I'm outsourcing that type of work to someone who is not a California licensed attorney, then they're not able to charge on an hourly rate basis that I or somebody else that I have to pay a pretty decent salary.
Sure. One of the biggest tendency about a family law practice is that attorneys feel like they need to do everything. Right off the bat, not knowing the size of your firm or the number of cases you have way too many attorneys to begin with. They're doing 10, 15, 20 bucks an hour work at least half of their day. So that's the first thing I would look at, and saying that unless you're doing heavy duty, high value worth clients, they're doing a lot of litigations and so forth, which I assume you have a balance of those. But majority of the work, which is client data collection, document collections, verifying things, filing things, all that stuff is a VA job. Attorneys should not touch that. You can recover your investment from that. Doesn't matter how many billing hours you do. So right off the back, for one single family attorney in the average market, they need to have like 3 VAs doing their work for one attorney. So if you don't have that ratio, you're leaving money on the table every day.
And we've experienced that. We've done that. Our VAs have VAs.
Yes. I have VA directors and vice presidents as VAs, that they have like 60 VAs in their group. And they have like 4 directors and they have 3 managers. And it's like a whole infrastructure of VAs that handle millions of dollars. And they're VAs.
Clarify yourself.
Yes.
Mundane tasks.
Exactly. You're creating pods. And a pod is that you become just a case generator. So you have like 4 attorneys. 4 attorneys have 3 people under them, and each one have an expected number of cases that they get assigned, and the amount of revenue they need to generate on the monthly, quarterly, annually basis that they're incentivized based on. So you create these pods, and now you are a business owner with essentially your franchising. You have 4 franchisees that all your job is to advertise, market, give them case, and get money on the other side. Don't get involved in any of it. It's all KPI metrics. I give you 100 cases, I give you 10 cases a month, and I expect this much revenue. Here's your 3 resources. Use them for everything that you shouldn't be touching as an attorney.
And Todd, you know this is working when your lawyers and in-house people stop working. Have you noticed that? We had these in-house people, and we had the VAs under them, and we'll delegate it to the directors, managers, and then right away, instantly, as soon as we give it to them, they'll delegate it. And over time, they're just sitting there, I'm like, well, then what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
So what comes out of that?
It's because when you're breaking down the responsibilities, even if you're giving them this 3 support system, you're saying, what is each one of these people going to do? And what's the expected outcome of it is? And what is you going to do as an attorney? So tell me, what have you done this week? 40 hours you worked. What was it? You must have been at least 10, 15 hours of it with the other counsel, or in deposition, or in court. But like Sam said, after you give them these resources, they literally stop working because all this VA is doing all the work. And they're just sitting there watching it. So you got to be careful about that too.
Right, because
Right.
I'm a mom.
If you already establish your name and you have a name and face recognition, no. But you can always start off a second brand, ABC Family Center, and then now you market that. So it again goes back to expansion and being able to multiply your income from multiple sources when everything comes to the same factory. So now you want to launch this thing that is just, let's say you want to do a fixed cost divorce, just that, especially for uncontested divorce stuff. So you create this brand, you fix it on these services, you put 1 attorney on it, and now your job is go to generate 500 cases for this business. Charges $3,500 for every uncontested divorce, and now have a factory. Because he doesn't even need the attorney. You need the intake person to actually take all the information, get them signed, get them submitted. Done. Sure.
Of course. So this has been amazing. So again, please definitely check out LegalSoft's booths outside to get more information. Thank you so much, Hamid. It's been fun.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks.